Hello, everybody, and welcome to another video of Green Square Talks Battlebots. Joining me in this video is Civilian Arc. How are you doing today, Civilian?
I'm pretty good. Pretty good.
Awesome. So in this video, we'll be discussing the 7th fight card of my fantasy tournament here, which will come out, and polls will be set up this upcoming Tuesday for you guys to vote on, and so on. There are lots of great fights in this one compared to the last 6 and such. Well, the last 6, there's all been some good fights and so on, but lots of good ones here as well. So just to warn you, there will probably be spoilers from Battlebots 2020, just as a warning and so on, in case if you haven't seen some of those episodes and don't want anything spoiled. Now, as of this point, we're 6 episodes in, I believe, and so yeah, there will only be spoilers from those 6 episodes and potentially the 2 bounty tournaments that we've seen.
Yep.
All right, so in the main event, we got Warhead and Ice Wave this time. Now, it's Warhead we haven't seen since the 2018 season, where they had both a massive spinner like what you see in that one, and they also had a dino or dragon head that spewed out lots of flames. They're taking on Ice Wave, whom was one of the 6 bounty legends, and that's their one appearance in BattleBots 2020 so far, and so on. But this should be a good main event. But let's lead it off with Beta and Warhawk. Now, is Beta currently sitting at 1-0 right now in the Battlebots 2020 season with a potentially controversial win over Rotator. And I believe they're fighting Rusty in the next episode, if I remember right.
They are.
Right, and such. They're taking on Warhawk, where we haven't seen them since the 2019 season, where they managed to get a few wins, but then got a few losses as well, and such. So, thoughts on this one, Civilian?
I mean, this could be a driving match. I mean, both bots have pretty potent weapons. Warhawk. I think the main influence though might be Warstop though, because if Warstop gets under Beta, that he could take advantage of that.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I never even thought of that, to be honest. No, the big factor in this one is one of the struggles that Warhawk has had in 2019 was radio issues, which caused them to have major mobility problems throughout their matchups. Other than the Petunia fights, as that was them dominating it to win it.
Right.
Beta is definitely a lot more reliable compared to Warhawk, but yeah, Warstop could definitely be a big factor in this one. As if Warhawk could get underneath the Beta and possibly high center it and line it up for some good shots on Warhawk, or good shots for Warhawk and so on. Warhawk could definitely have an edge in this one, but of course, though, radio issues could catch up to Warhawk if they're not careful coming into this one, and so on.
Right.
Yes, I bet Warhawk would come in with the similar configuration that they came in with against Ragnarok, where I believe they had some extra top armor, or if I remember right.
I think they did.
And so on. I feel like they could definitely take a punch or two from Beta, as they are pretty well armored overall, in my opinion. But this could definitely be an interesting fight these two met.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think this would be a really entertaining fight to watch if it happened in real life.
Definitely. So, should we vote on this one, or you got anything else?
I'm down to vote.
All right. I am going to vote Beta by a knockout.
I'm going to say Beta by unanimous decision. I think Warhawk can survive most of the hits by Beta, but Beta's going to dominate probably.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned about radio issue problems that Warhawk could have, as it kind of had those for 2/3 of its fights, but you never know what could happen here.
Right.
Yeah, I bet Warhawk will definitely get some good action with that vertical spinner. All right, so up second, we have 2 Battlebots 2020 competitors. We got Fusion and Pain Train, who are both sitting at 1-1 right now. We got Fusion on one side with a win over Aegis, but a loss to Mad Catter. Pain Train got a win over Smee, but a loss to Slammo as of so far in the Battlebots 2020 season so far. And so, thoughts on this one, Civilian?
I wonder which weapon Fusion would go at Pain Train with first.
If
Is
I
it
took a good guess, I bet they come in with the horizontal spinner to start it off.
that would
Like
be my guess too, because the horizontal seems slightly stronger.
that kind of leads up to my big concern for Pain Train here. One of my big concerns, like we saw them lose their weapon potentially because of a weapon on weapon, potentially because of the shot they managed to land on Smee that disabled one of their that removed one of their horizontal spinners completely. Could that have done damage to Pain Train? If that's true, Fusion definitely has the better horizontal spinner between them and Smee. They could do the same thing, but possibly worse
Oh
if
yeah,
Pain Train is not careful.
definitely.
Yeah, that's definitely my big concern for Pain Train here, along with kind of like they've seemed to have a lot of trouble with mobility over their first two fights, but still don't want to underestimate Pain Train as that drum has caused some damage in both of their fights.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
like yeah, if they connect like right on the sides of Fusion or manage to get a good shot on Fusion and either weapon side, Pain Train could definitely do some serious damage to Fusion, and then such
definitely.
as could Fusion do the same thing to Pain Train.
Right. Yeah, this would be a good weapon on weapon clash to see who would do the most damage. I think that would be like a really destructive fight.
Yeah, I think more likely yeah, because I think whoever holds up the best between these two bots is gonna come out with the victory in this one if these two were to fight in the Battlebots 2020 season and such. And so, yeah, anything else, or should we vote in this one?
I'm ready to vote.
All right, you want to go first this time?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Fusion by knockout.
Yeah, I bet Fusion wins by a knockout as well. I think it's going to be similar to Fusion's fight with Aegis, but Pain Train's not going to have a side panel come completely
Yeah.
off and such. All right, fight number 3. We got a Robot Wars and BattleBots Comedy Central face off here. We got Magnetar and Double Agent. And so Magnetar, similar design to Pulsar, who did reasonably well in Robot Wars Series 8 and 9. But then they came in with Magnetar, managed to make it to the grand final, and was in the top six and such. Yeah, either got 5th or 6th place in Robot Wars Series 10, as that drum spinner was very much capable of doing damage.
Yeah.
And so on the other side, we got Double Agent, where they had a reasonably good rookie season in Comedy Central, but after that, they kind of disappeared, kind of like they seemed to have some major problems and had trouble with quite a few of their opponents in the other seasons they competed in and for the Comedy Central era. So, thoughts on this one?
Uh, can I ask what weapon Pain Train is?
Pain Train?
I mean, no, not Pain Train. Double Agent.
They're wedge. Edge.
Oh,
They typically will push their opponents around, try to control the fights.
oh. I mean, Magnetar was really deadly, and
Yeah.
I don't, I don't know what to say about this fight. This seems very unfortunate for Double Agent.
Yeah. While I do have concerns for Double Agent as for how well they could take shots from Magnetar's drum spinner, I do have some concerns for Magnetar as well.
Oh
As
yeah,
like in their heat in the 5th episode of Robot Wars Series 10, they won all their fights by reasonably well. The Heat file, you could kind of make an exception to this. They won those all by quick knockouts. As they did little to nothing in their opening round battle with Hobgoblin and crap, what's its name?
push to exit.
Yes, push to exit. They didn't do much in that one. They managed to land a few shots on push to exit, but yeah, they didn't do too much in that one. Expulsion was a one-hit KO for Magnetar. And
Yeah,
then Thor, that one lasted a little longer, including Thor managed to pin Magnetar against the rails, but Magnetar did win that one not long after that. But then when they came into the heat, or they came into the grand final episode, when they fought Eruption and Rapid in the group stage, and then Behemoth in their next battle. both of those fights lasted quite longer, and Magnetar uncovered some reliability problems that Pulsar had, and
Yeah.
specifically with the weapon and such, which could
Although
be some concerns here.
Although I do think some of the stuff for Magnetar was unfair. A lot of people argued like the house robot stuff was kind of that happened to Magnetar was kind of annoying.
Yeah, to be honest, I think they would have won that group battle if Matilda didn't flip Magnetar over. Because
Yeah.
one thing if you viewers don't know, Magnetar does have a self-right mechanism, but they can only self-right once. And then that costed them in both of their grand final episode fights.
Right.
All right, so yeah, anything else on this one, or should we vote?
I'm ready to vote Magnetar.
Yep, I'm voting Magnetar as well. I think they'll win it in less than a minute.
Definitely.
All right, so fight number 4, we've been left side so far. Will that be the same here? As we got Razor, a Robot Wars legend, Robot Wars champion, and then they returned to Series 8 of Robot Wars, only to end up losing in the opening battle of their heat, unfortunately. They're taking on Bloodsport, who's turning out to be a beast in Battlebots 2020 right now, with 2 very impressive victories over Scorpios and Endgame. Could this one, in my opinion here, I think Razor's biggest kryptonite out of the competitive field in this fantasy tournament is Bloodsport. This is my opinion, though. I could very easily be wrong about that, but I do think Razor's big kryptonite is Bloodsport here. But yeah, thoughts on this one, Civilian?
I think Bloodsport would in this fight would go in with its like shield weapon that it used against Scorpios to make sure if it does get grabbed by Razor, it doesn't puncture through and damage the weapon at all. Um, this could be Bloodsport's fight to lose because Razor doesn't seem like Razor would do well against horizontal spinners. But so and I have Bloodsport ranked in number 1 right now. So but Razor, let's not denounce Razor. Razor is a great robot overall. It has a good driver, a good weaponry. If it was able to actually go and pierce through Bloodsport, that could be the end of it.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly about Razor's crushing ability, knowing what they were able to do against Killy Cranky in the opening round battle of Series 8. Like, they weren't
That
really
is
able to get through. But I have a
that
feeling
is
if they like upgrade Razor a similar tech that Andron 4000 and Quantum each had, I think they could definitely do some serious damage to
oh yeah.
Bloodsport, potentially even get through the weapon, and if Bloodsport's not careful. But yeah, I agree that Bloodsport's definitely come in with the same spinner that they used against Scorpios, which covers a lot of the top of the machine and protects their internals from overhead attacks. As I think that would definitely be the right move by Bloodsport if they ever fought Razor. The thing that I feel like is going to happen in this fight, I feel like Bloodsport would decapitate Razor.
That would be fun to watch.
I feel like what's going to happen is I definitely believe that Razor is lower to the ground between them and Bloodsport, even with Bloodsport's wedgelets. But if
Mhm.
Bloodsport's spinner is going up full speed, because that thing can spin up quite quickly. Yeah, I think they could get some major shots on the crusher of Razor and potentially destroy it and separate it and such.
Yeah, definitely. I think Razor would probably lose its weapon, but it could still probably control the fight for the most part.
Yeah, I could definitely see that happening. As Razor is pretty well armored and stuff.
Yeah, but Bloodsport, it's a beast right now. We saw it like peel off like the front like armor of Scorpios, and
Yeah,
that's like
and yeah, Scorpios definitely has some thick armor too. So yeah,
like
you never know what could happen here. Is we could definitely see Bloodsport slice through Razor as well as it has done as in its first few fights and so
yeah.
on. So this fight could get brutal very quickly if these two happen to ever fight in the arena. Although I'm not sure if that's going to happen because I'm pretty sure Razor is retired. But you
Yeah.
never know.
This would probably need to be like the driver for Razor would have to be perfect this fight in order to win.
Yeah, he would probably need a perfect box rush if I took a good guess as in order. Kind of like do what Scorpios was trying to do who win that one, and so on.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Anything else about this one, or should we vote?
I am ready to vote.
I'm going to vote Bloodsport. I'm actually going to go by judge's decision, but I think Bloodsport is going to win it in a dominant one.
I think, yeah, I'm kind of at that point also. I'd go with Bloodsport unanimous.
All right. Next up, we get Dan Tom Kia and Captain Shredderator, which this one might be a hard one for me to pick, to be honest here.
Yeah, this seems like it'll be our toughest fight
Yeah.
to pin down.
Yes, we got Dan Tom Kia, who was a Robot Wars Classic bot series 6 and 7, I believe. And then they returned for series 8, where they did better than Razor, though. Like, they managed to win in the opening round battle in dominating fashion, including destroying the wooden robot in their opening round battle, which is fun to watch. Including the builders of that bot were even just laughing about that whole thing just happened. But then they did win 2 of their 3 group battles, but then lost their heat final to TR2, who won that heat and went on to get 3rd place in Robot Wars Series 8. Their opponent is Captain Shredderator, where currently in the 2020 season, and they have a loss. They have a loss to Lockjaw. They managed to win against Sharko in the Bounty, but then lost to Rotator following that. But
And
yeah,
they're fighting.
this is not going to, in my opinion, this is not an easy one to decide on here. Is Dan Tom Kia's strategy is definitely going to be to try to flip Captain Shredderator here, but Captain Shredderator has proven that that's not an easy task and such. So
Definitely not. And as we've seen this season, Captain Shredderator looks very much improved in its fights, as we've seen in the Bounty. And I could see it making the postseason. And Captain Shredderator is very destructive. It's kind of a glass cannon, but it can do damage to its opponents.
yeah, as for what the bot whisperers said before their fight with Lockjaw, Captain Shredderator came in with their old reliable internal system, which helped them win many of their fights back before Battlebots and stuff. As yeah, I'm sure, as you know, they were incredibly unreliable in the past few seasons and stuff, but they came into this season quite a bit more reliable. That spinner is quite a bit more destructive. Well, quite a bit destructive, just like what we've seen in the past few seasons. And kind of like with that whole flipping strategy, when I said it wouldn't make it easy, Lockjaw is typically a bot where we see them flip a lot of their opponents over and stuff with ease. They were not able to do that against Captain Shredderator here. And many of Captain Shredderator's opponents last season just did not have an easy time at it. Even Witch Doctor and Blacksmith, who eventually managed to succeed at that.
Right.
Yeah. So the big question here is what's going to happen first? Is Dan Tom Kia going to get a flip on Captain Shredderator, or is Captain Shredderator just going to tear apart Dan Tom Kia? Because I imagine there's a point where Dan Tom Kia won't be able to flip Captain Shredderator due to have taken so much damage in this one.
Yeah, it has like a little stand at the back, if you notice, and when it loses the stand at the back, it kind of tilts up whenever it moves, so it's hard to flip.
Definitely. Okay, so yeah, this will definitely be an interesting one. This is a hard one to call and such. So
Yeah, this would depend on the first flip by Dan Tomkia. Would it be able to flip Captain Shredderator over? If not, then I think Captain Shredderator could do it. But if it does flip Captain Shredderator over, it's Dan Tomkia's win.
definitely, I completely agree with that. So. Should we vote on this one?
Sure.
I kind of need my coin for this one. I don't know. Do you need a coin?
My psychiatrist says I should stop flipping coins in podcasts.
Oh, man. So, what's your vote anyway while I flip this thing?
I'm going to go with Captain Shredderator by knockout.
All right. I got Captain Shredderator as well. So I went with them with heads and I flipped a heads. So, all right. Next up, we got Yeti and Deep Six. And this fight, I'm feeling what a lot of you might be thinking is Yeti get to the sides, Deep Six, flip them over very quickly here. knowing Deep Six isn't the most maneuverable or the most stable machine here, but I potentially think an upset could be coming here in this one if these two ever fought. So, thoughts on this one?
Drum spinners hate vertical spinners. They hate them. If you watch the Death Roll Minotaur fight, like you could see just how well verticals act against drum spinners.
And knowing this is the biggest vertical spinner, well, one of the biggest is vertical spinners like in Battlebots history here. Like I have a feeling if those two went weapon on weapon with each other, I think Yeti wouldn't just lose the exchange. They would just get sent flying. I don't think they'd lose the drum spinner or anything like that.
But
That like
yeah,
the drum spinner gets separated from the bot, but I think Yeti would just have such a hard time if they go weapon on weapon and stuff with Deep Six.
the question is, what configuration is Greg Gibson going to go for? Is it going to go for its small drum with forks like what it did against Bite Force, or will it use the heavy drum spinner like what it used against all its other
I feel
opponents?
like he would go with the heavy drum spinner because he's Greg Gibson is not a strategist as because like he even mentioned coming into his fight with I believe it was free shipping was his second battle
Yeah,
and such that he doesn't like the forks very much as what he likes to do is just get the drum spinner go up to speed and then just go right in there and smash ashes.
yeah,
That's kind of like what Greg Gibson's big strategy is. Sadly, we weren't able to see Yeti this season as the team moved to California uh, uh, before after the 2019 season and such. Sometime after that, because Greg got a new job, I believe it was, and settling in there or just settling into California, they didn't really have much time to work with the bot and such.
right.
And on Deep Six, of course, didn't return themselves, I believe, due to COVID reasons and such.
Yeah, but like Deep Six is like it's not a great bot, but like that weapon, you cannot deny that power of that weapon.
Yeah, the weapon
Like,
is definitely very powerful. And I was really hoping we'd get to see Deep Six because one of their big improvements that they've been showing off is that they can self-right now through the use of that spinner. Like if
can
you,
they? Oh yeah, I saw that. I saw
yeah,
that post that they did up put on Instagram.
yeah, they use their weapon to self-right. Yeah, I'd recommend checking out those videos if you haven't seen those if you're viewing this as well. Though, if you need another example of exactly what that does, check out Drizzle and Battlebots 2019, as that was their big improvement, and it was very entertaining watching Drizzle self-right
Oh yeah.
the use of that spinner or and such. Like yeah, it's so much fun to watch that stuff happen. Like getting to see a Bugglebot do that and now possibly getting to see a heavyweight do the same thing would be so much fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like this one's probably gonna come down to who Yeti's like strategy, even though Greg Gibson is not a big strategist as for what he's mentioned throughout the 3 seasons of BattleBots he's competed in here. If he goes weapon on weapon, I feel like yeah, he's just gonna really struggle in this one. But if they try to maneuver around on Deep Six has real problems with maneuverability, gyroscopic forces, and their own stability at times too. And Yeti could definitely take advantage of that if they manage to outmaneuver Deep Six and such.
Yeah, if Yeti gets a wheel, I think that could be over for Deep Six because I don't.
Yeah, I think Deep Six would only be able to drive on one side if Yeti gets a wheel.
It doesn't seem like Deep Six would be good driving on one wheel because of how much width the robot has.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. So yeah, should we vote in this one, or do you have anything else?
I would just love to see this fight in real life. I
Oh
I, I,
yeah,
I want to
yeah,
see Yeti one more time. It's my It's one of my favorite bots ever.
yeah. I love Yeti too. I hope we get to see them for the next season of BattleBots if it continues to get renewed.
Yeah.
All right, so your vote on this one?
It's tough. It's real tough because both these bots have advantages that could be used against the other robot really effectively.
Yeah,
But I'm gonna go with Deep Six.
yeah. I think Deep Six is gonna win it by knockout as well. Oh, like think this is gonna be like a potential like upset fight here. Great.
Definitely.
So up next, we have the Four Horsemen and Mechavore in the bonus fight segment here. Here, we got the Four Horsemen to lead off. Now, as for what they would go for their four bots, I know for sure they'll go with Daisy and Buttercup, the two wedge bots here. The question is, do they go with two horizontals, or because their opponent is a spinner bot, do they go with Sky, their spinner killer, and one of the horizontal spinners? I don't know for sure or which would happen, but I'm gonna guess they go with the spinner killer Sky, and then one of the horizontal spinners, whether that's War, Famine, or Pizza, who is the horizontal saw bot and such. They're up against Mechavore, a Battlebots Comedy Central era, one of the first destructive spinners, especially in the heavyweight category for the Comedy Central era. And that was, yeah, like the lightweight, we've seen Ziggo from the beginning. We saw Hazard over in the middleweights, and yeah, a few others over in the heavyweights and stuff. But Mechavore and well, I suppose there's also Son of Waiachi, who could be a big one as well.
Oh yeah. Well, then again,
Yeah,
it
I
didn't have
forgot
a
about
great
them.
season four
But
and five, though. It had a good season three, but not a good four and five.
yeah, it did have an entertaining way to go out against Biohazard, knowing it
Oh yeah,
decapitated Biohazard's flipper in that fight.
yeah, that was hilarious. That was great. That's probably my favorite BattleBots championship, if I'm being honest.
Well, it wasn't a championship, but yeah,
Or
you
wait, or wait, what fight was it?
Biohazard and Mechavore, which is like the
Oh, I thought we were talking about Son of Waiachi versus
oh
Biohazard.
yeah, Son of Wyatt and Biohazard. I completely agree with that. Out of the Comedy Central era, that was definitely my favorite fight, right out of the bunch.
Yeah,
Because
I McAvoy is the only real robot I know that's from Arizona. So if it loses, it makes me depressed.
um, so yeah, thoughts on this fight other than what you've already said?
Um, I think this is actually a really close fight, if I'm being honest, because I mean the quality of Comedy Central robots versus quality of like Discovery or ABC robots are kind of difficult because like a high tier Comedy Central robot could have a tough time taking on like a mid or low tier like Discovery robot.
Definitely, yeah. Because a big question here, though, is I do believe that like Daisy and Buttercup could get underneath Mechavore and potentially like high center it or line it up for some shots from like the horizontal spinner and stuff. But the big question here is how much damage could the horizontal spinners do to Mechavore exactly?
The bigger question is how much damage will the four horsemen do to themselves?
That's another good question too, as we could definitely. They don't exactly have as much friendly fire as Gemini has in the past, but that's also very possible as we have seen Buttercup. We did see Buttercup get taken out by its own ally when they fought Blacksmith in 2018. So
Right.
yeah, I have a feeling even though this is Comedy Central versus like BattleBots 2019 eras, as this could be a reasonably close fight. As Mechavore, they can easily do some damage with that horizontal spinner and such, and they would definitely be one to watch
Oh
for
yeah.
a fight like
Definitely.
this. It's like I think four horsemen. I believe they would be able to take some punishment from Mechavore's spinner, just knowing that it is like Comedy Central era compared to this time. I'm here, but Mechamore could still easily disable some of those bots one by one if the four horsemen are not exactly the most careful.
Right.
So anything else on this one, or should we vote?
I think this fight would mainly the outcome of this fight would mainly decide on how well Buttercup and Daisy are driven. If they're able
Definitely.
to control the match against Mechavore, they would win. But if they like die all of a sudden, they will probably lose.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. So yeah, anything else, or is it voting time?
Voting time.
I am gonna go Mechavore. I think this will be Comedy Central versus current era that Comedy Central bot would win.
This is tough for me to decide. I don't know. I don't know. Uh, uh, I need my coin. Where's my coin?
You want me to flip it for you or something? Or
Yeah, flip it for me.
all
Oh
right,
wait,
which
no,
one's
I found it.
heads?
I found it.
Oh, you found
All
it.
right.
I'll let
Four
you.
Horsemen tails my color. All right, Four Horsemen it is.
All right, we got an even one here. So yeah, if you're watching this video right now, be sure to comment below whom you think would win between the Four Horsemen and Mechivore here if these two happen to fight in the battle box. Looks like the next day or the next episode or something, even though I don't know if it's going to happen.
It won't probably.
Probably not, but you never know. So now we got the main event where we have Warhead and Ice Wave. We haven't seen Warhead since 2018 after their spinner broke in half when they fought Warrior Dragon, but then they got the Dino Head as well, where they managed to win quite a few fights with that thing. I think they went undefeated with the Dino Head. No, they didn't go
No, they
undefeated.
lost
They
with
went
the
3-1, and
yeah
with
3-1.
Whiplash being their only defeat.
Well, technically 4-1 because they beat Obwaldian.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I was mostly thinking like 2018 season, but yeah, counting the 2016 season, that's very true. Ooh, and such. But yeah, Warhead would have made the top. I believe Warhead would have made the top. No, yes, they would have made the top 16 if Battlebots confirmed that.
They
They would
did
have
make
made the top 16 in the 2018 season, but because all they had left at their arsenal was the Dino Head or whatever you want to call that thing, and they chose to drop out and chose to participate in the US versus the world event instead, just because Bronco was the only bot in the top 16 of 2018 that wasn't a spinner bot. They would just get chewed up if they came in with the Dino Head against quite a few of the spinner bots there.
I have a
So
feeling they would be like a 16 seed probably if they went into the tournament.
yeah, they would have been either 15 or 16 probably.
I
Yeah.
think Scorpios would take 15 probably because
Yeah.
Scorpios had much more,
In
probably
which
more impressive win.
Yeah, and if they went and if they had 16 for their seed, what they would have fought Tombstone, who probably would destroy them
Ah, yes,
and
a good old
such.
fashioned first round Tombstone Murder Fest.
Yeah. So I do believe that was probably a good move, especially if they didn't want the Dino Head to get horribly damaged in the top 16 and such. So they're fighting Ice Wave, where we saw them fight Scorpios those in the Battlebots bounty events where they lost, but we saw some good hits out of Ice Wave. But then there's also the 2018 season, which was the last time we saw them like compete for the Giant Nut, where they managed to go 3-1 in the regular season, but then got destroyed by Rotator following that. So thoughts on
Yeah.
this main event? As I feel like a Warhead would probably go with the spinner if they had both weapons for this fight.
Yeah, this would definitely be a weapon on weapon exchange. I'm wondering something. Since Warhead can move its spinner up and down, what if Warhead moved its spinner high enough to hit Ice Wave's like gas engine, but
Ooh,
not the spinner?
that's definitely a good question here, whether they can do that. Because if they can do that, like that'd be a major game changer if these two were to fight in the arena at some point, and so on. Like, yeah, definitely that's a good question. Like, can Warhead hit the engine area on Ice Wave? Because if they could disable that weapon, they could possibly lower down the spinner and destroy the drive area as well. Because all their drive controls are in the lower area compared to their weapon areas and the top stuff
Right.
and such. And the big concern, though, for Warhead, on the other hand, if they do have to go weapon on weapon, is I believe they're quite a bit more unstable compared to Ice Wave, which we saw that happen a few times in their fight with Warrior Clan, and then Complete Control as well,
Yeah.
and such. Like that could be a possible concern, but this could still be a very interesting fight here. Now, Ice Wave Spinner wasn't the most reliable over in especially the Twitch event and back in 2019 when they fought Bite Force, but then that clearly changed when they fought Scorpios, as we saw them land a ton of big shots onto Scorpios's front. So
Yeah, this would definitely be a weapon on weapon exchange, or Warhead could hit the gas engine if it could. But I think this will be a fight of reach. Which bot has the better reach? And Ice Wave has the better reach, I think.
yeah, I feel like Ice Wave would probably does have the better reach, and if they do have it, I feel like they would go with I feel like they would go with the spinner that they used against. I believe it was Scorpion. No, Vanquish. No, no, it wasn't Vanquish. No, they had one blade where they had like a longer amount of reach to it, so they would
I think
probably go
Yeti.
with that just to kind of like prevent that from happening and such. And yeah, it's huge that I'm thinking of possibly.
It might, yeah, it might be huge, I think.
Yeah, huge would make sense. Like I know they went with a shorter blade
Or
for
wait, I think it's Bite Force. I think it was Bite Force that they did it in.
oh yeah, that would also make sense and such, but yeah, I feel either way though. I feel like Ice Wave would probably go with a blade that would give them a lot more reach in this situation to kind of like keep Warhead from getting to the engine as easily. And I feel like this would be an entertaining fight if it ever happened. So,
Definitely.
anything else, or should we vote in this one?
I am ready to vote.
Yeah,
Uh,
this is a tough one, but
uh,
I think I'm gonna pick War. No, no, screw that. I'm gonna pick Ice Wave actually.
ooh, you were about to say a Warhead.
Yeah, I was about to say Warhead, but I think I'm going to choose Ice Wave. I think Ice Wave's going to win it by a judge's decision, as both bots are quite reliable, quite durable, and a close one too.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with my fifth favorite robot ever, Ice Wave.
Yeah, I definitely love Ice Wave as well. Fun robot and such. All right, so anything else on this fight card?
I want to hear Ice Wave's engine scream one more time.
Yeah, definitely. I hope we'll get to see Ice Wave in the main competition and sometime soon, as I definitely miss getting to see that bot destroy lots of stuff. Of once
Yeah,
again, see more bots get split in half and so on.
yeah.
All right, so yeah, thank you for watching this video. Oh, be sure to comment down below who you think would win between the Four Horsemen and Mechivore if that was split between the two of us. Thank you for joining me as usual, Civilian Arc. And I hope you all enjoyed this video. I hope you will come check this video out next time.